So everything, OBS crashed. I restarted everything, and now we're just opened. So we'll cut to the chase here. I think everybody's working normally now. This will be an extremely short stream. I've got a presentation at the top of the hour, and I will not trade this week. Quite a crazy day yesterday. We're getting some, one would have expected responsive selling, but that doesn't seem to be on anybody's books. Get back to yesterday here. Right here, tight consolidation, and the second Powell started speaking and announced the rate cuts. 765 handles straight up. Overnight continued, and into the morning, into the open continued. So, yeah, it's pretty goofy. We've got a gap up here. But there's no value area because of basically yesterday was basically a trend day, and one would expect responsive selling for a little profit taking, but that's not in anybody's books. Doesn't look like. I've got two shifts and about as many minutes. Yeah, it's craziness. Got 436,000 contracts traded in the first minute. That's somebody was arguing with me on T-Lab the other day when I said there was 200,000 contracts traded all night. And I said, we trade that much in the first 5 minutes. And they were saying, no, the first hour at least. And, I was pretty sure I was right. And I was. So, wow. We're going to take out that 76th stat here. This is we're opening higher out of range. These are the stats for these levels. Just up and test that overnight high. So I've got that meeting at the top of the hour. I'm just going to basically watch this. Try not to succumb to FOMO, which is extremely dangerous in a day like today, or in a period like this where we have just buttloads of drastic movement. I mean, I was not available to trade the Powell talk yesterday. I had to run out do something for the family-oriented issue, or not issue, but mission. And happened to be that meeting off site here was 1 o'clock, which is exactly when the thing started. When I got back, I wasn't going to jump in the middle. So this is a pretty big week. We had the big announcement by the Fed. We had retail sales, core PPI, and tomorrow is Friday, quad witching. So, and I needless to almost forgot the elephant in the room. It was rollover on Wednesday. So, yeah, this is a really good week to watch and learn. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Would think there'd be some responsive selling to take a little profit, but, that doesn't seem like that's on anybody's book. And I'm not clever enough with the whole options story to know where these strikes would be. I'm guessing there would be one at 4,800. That's got to be a pretty big strike. All the even numbers, I think, are that. We've had 3-4 VPOC migrations up since the open, and we've been open for 4 minutes. So, yeah, a hell of a lot of liquidity now bulking up here at the overnight high, which is the highest statistic. Now the EPA is 79, so its overnight high is a little bit less, but Shorten this mess is like getting in front of a freight train, and picking tops has never been something I've been good at, and I'm not too sure I've ever met anybody else who's been good at it either. So, anyway, we'll watch the market here and enjoy it. The micro composites, here's our gap up. This is the Renko. Switch them off to the RTH now. Generally do that right at the open, but got busy talking. There we go. So here's our gap up. Pretty plain. You see that there was really no value area yesterday. Pretty much a trend after the consolidation, and spot on 1 o'clock kazoom off it took. From, where did it go? From about 47.5 to 33. Pretty big pop. Pretty big pop. Thought it was more than that, actually. Okay. Anyway, now we're getting a little of that responsive selling that I was looking forward to. We've got some stats down below here. There's the overnight VPOC. What this thing's doing. This thing doesn't seem to want to do what I think it ought to do. And we're now lower than low over here. Very little responsive selling. Overnight mid, overnight VPOC. This is actually supposed to be up here. What the hell? How can that possibly be? That's just crazy. I'm looking at the new TopStep Trader X. They've asked me to have a look at it, so I've got it running on another machine. Sim, obviously. And I just slapped in 2 at market, and it opened 4 out of the market. So something's pretty goofy there. Anyway, not to worry. It's not, it's just fun, like a video game, I guess. And we're got some liquidity stepping on it here, putting a lid on the pot. They want to take that down lower towards these 2 statistics. There's no meat on the bone there. This would have been, when you have continual VPOC migration up, this is only a situation where I would be calling this responsive selling for profit taking. I don't know if they're going to get down to that gap or not. Won't really care, I guess. Here's a previous high, so that would close the basic range gap, and closes down here, settles right here. So they're all tight to the top, assuming that we get a break lower. And I have no reason to imagine that that's what they're going to do. But the market does go up to go down and down to go up. So, yeah, this thing is way crazy. I'm going to take a screenshot of this so I can tell somebody at TopStep their crap doesn't work. Just to, I mean, that's why they asked me to test it, I guess, is to see that it give them feedback, I suppose. But that's if you hit into the market for 2 and it throws you out 3 points, that's there's no way there's a 3-point spread. Or if there is, they're really robbing people. They're supplying this data and whatever else. So that's pretty stupid, really. Wow. No wonder it's. Yesterday I thought I had. Yesterday I thought I had entered differently, but I wasn't paying attention close enough to it. I was watching the market and taking care of something else. So I didn't really notice it, but just now I very specifically saw the current price hit market. There's no touch of the entry, and it entered 3 handles, 3 points lower. That's stupid. It won't work for me anyway because it doesn't allow brackets or the hell. Now it's doing all kinds of craziness. Now it's doing a lot of crazy stuff. Well, we'll just shut that off. Boop. That's completely nuts. Okay. Yeah, that's wouldn't work for me at all. Anyway, you can't enter brackets. You can't, and my whole focus is risk neutral trading. So we're looking now at what would be potentially mean reversion. The problem is mean is now bicated back down to here for a price check at aisle 3 from a previous one here at the open. And then it would be returning back up. So you're looking at this is the current session volume profile. This is the full session volume profile starting 1700 last night, and this represents what's on the chart or visible on the chart. Kind of handy, but kind of deceptive, I think. Anyway, so we did a price check at aisle 3, came down here to just tested to the overnight or the full session VPOC and then back up. Took out, damn near took out the stats over here. Well, that thing is pretty weird. And back up again. So doop doop doop. Yeah, it's now there was only one number out this morning. That was core retail sales at 7:30, and we've got balance sheet numbers at 5:30 tonight, and I think it's 5:30, yeah, 15:30. Sorry, tonight. So only retail sales are the only 3-star high impact number. Got a lot of liquidity sitting on top up here. This would be definitely a breakout trade. Absolutely not interested in that. We'll see how the, hopefully everything else is working again. Oh, on the wrong screen. That's not good. Supposed to be over here. All this talking I've been doing. Yes, OBS doesn't seem to want to be playing nice this morning. It crashed once and I had to restart, so maybe it's just getting its shit together. I don't know. I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully all that's working. Again, let's see. Stupid. Okay, we should be on IRT. Back on Bookmap. We got that stat on the overnight high. And now it's very possible they're going to take it up. I'm not going to enter any trade, even though it would be nice. Would have been a great mean reversion from the full session VPOC tests, this slow volume node up to here with the VPOC at that, unfortunately, the VPOC at that time, there wasn't enough. There was only 2 handles of range. Now, the VPOC migration up could have been a next idea for higher ground. You know, but I'm not going to speculate or impulsively trade. Much better to sit on hands, protect the account, or to narrate and watch. Going to be signing off here in about 10 minutes, or at least off voice. I may let the stream run. I think I will do that going forward. Yeah, that seems to have worked pretty well the last few days. I'll let the stream run with the background music or the Be Right Back music, the walking bass, and then I can keep an eye on what's going on. I have a few monitors on a rack here, and so the trading monitors are on the lower tier, and this other presentation I will be doing on the top 2 tier, so I can keep an eye on everything. That's pretty disappointing about TopStep's X. I'm going to have to report that through to those guys because I'm sure they would. If I'm not the only one, they're having a bad morning. Bad morning. So we've mean reverted to the top. VPOC has migrated back up. Price check at aisle 3 and then back to the top. This was the great mean reversion trade. And now we're getting pulled back to VWAP, which is the purple. Mid is the red. The bright yellow is the current session VPOC. The darker yellow is the full session VPOC. So we've taken out just about all of the stats, and I would find it pretty hard to believe we're going to break down into these, but you see, except for the previous high, which would close the gap range-wise, these are pretty low probabilities. And of course, the second I say that, it'll go zooming down there like it's on fire. All the more reason for me not to participate, and only one more day to wait and get quad witching out of the way and see what the hell happens. And everybody will be off to a fresh start next week, I believe. Witching's over, new contract, rollovers firmly set in place. Should a much more normal trading environment. And here we're coming back down again. Now, the question is, do I want to think about a mean reversion trade? I think not, because of the timing. I've got 10 minutes to the top. I don't want to be have my focus diluted or diverted to something else with money on the line. I do want to get these screen snaps over to TopStep, who are a pretty good bunch of fellows, I believe. Huh. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Oh, that's why it's being tested, I guess. So if I can help them, good. The problem with there's structured trades of mid VWAP to VPOC, but of course, huge pile of liquidity and no range, 0.5. That's not enough meat on the bone. For my risk neutral setup, that's using the multi brackets. Two contracts or multiples thereof. Each stop is at 12, in this case 12 and 13, because the multi-bracket tool won't let you put both stops at the same price. So the stops are at essentially 3 points. The first profit target, or target one, is at 12 ticks, 3 points, which means that contract number 2 is riding free, and the worst you can possibly do at that point is scratch. So it's risk neutral. And then you can manage the runner and trade manage how you see fit. But that's a huge psychological advantage, in my opinion. Now, were I to start that up, I would go here, select both, because I trade off a keyboard, and then just manipulate orders with a mouse. Confirm that it's 2, so the first, the one contract is ready to go, and that the OCO and brackets are off. So it will be executing properly. And then I shut that off to get some screen space. That's the risk neutral setup. I don't know how to express the relief or the difference that it makes when that scale comes off and your worst you can do is scratch. It's just phenomenal. How much more clearly you can see price action and those things. And obviously the object of every trader is to protect the account. That's why the stops are there. So if your stops get hit, that's great. You protected your account. It's not great in the fact that you want to profit, obviously, but the outcome of every trade is the very next trade is always 50-50. That's why I try to have structured, vetted trades that have an identified, statistically significant data set behind them demonstrating an edge, and then take those setups. That's exactly the concept of a gaming concept and a casino. They only play games which have an identified edge. They play by the same exact rules every time. And the scale of large numbers is plays out in their favor because the edge manifests itself, and therefore they're building this sphere. And I've probably some of the most phenomenal construction in current period are done by casinos and gambling places. Quite obviously, who's making the money? So that's the concept. Vetted trades. The business is trading, not a video game. Only takes vetted setups. Let the edge play out, and always apply risk neutral. And you can do that in multiples of 2. If you want to trade 10 contracts, there you go. Take 5 off it at the first one and let 5 run. And then you can start splitting out runners and doing all that kind of stuff. But for the purposes of this and getting my head around everything, I'm trading 2 contracts, 1 multiple, in other words. So that's the way this works on the purposes of the stream here. All right. So I'm going to pull off the headset here to the switch off to the other side. Put on some Be Right Back walking bass music. Oh, great. That was a short one. Thank goodness. And now we can get back to something a little more pleasant. We've closed the gap. The IB30 extended the gap. Extended or closed the gap. There's the, oh no, I'm lying. We have not closed the gap. Well, something's wrong here because previous RTH high is here per IRT. Yeah, that's exactly correct. Just barely, and the NQ has closed the gap. So again, I don't think there's any gap rules applying. James, no, here. Okay, where's the paper? Oh, tell me. It's control. Once again, James. Oh, God. Oh, typing the wrong keyboard. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, so Okay. I'll run this up to the top of the hour. A little preoccupied there. Sorry. The full session VPOC has now tweaked up to join the current session VPOC. Looks like I'm funny how even though I stepped away for a while, that's just price keeps checking those old retail spots, right? So here we go. Here we go. Up here, back down here, and then here we are on the POC again. So yeah, I don't expect a lot of movement here, but then obviously yesterday was a very definite outlier precipitated completely by Chairman Powell and the FOMC presentation stating that they're going to aggressively cut rates. So, the market took off like a hot air balloon. But that's why I don't trade reports, because you can't control risk. I mean, he could have easily said we're going to continue to cut or continue to raise, and it would have fallen through the floor. Now, in that particular case yesterday, it was a long enough and prolonged enough steady grind or climb higher that fella could have got on it and made a bundle of money. But reports are usually much more flash in the pan with just a few minutes back and forth. And pretty clearly, it's a chop fest. There's the open. Boop, 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 boop. Actually skewing a little bit to the downside towards that gap, but certainly not any kind of a opportunity in my opinion. And I'm sure lots of people are trading hell out of it. The mean reversion from here up was relatively good. We get down here around 72, then there is a good possibility for mean reversion back to the POC. And there's enough range. 75 is 5 points of range there. That's your opinion. So the PO or the V, the IB initial balance has been set now. We extended the IB low on the IB 30. It's now set from 930. So these IB low and wherever it went up here, IB high, up here someplace, is not going to be will not change. and there is a high statistic that either the IB high or low will be taken out within the regular trading hour session. So that stat still remains. IB high is at 70, 47, 91.75, and the low is at 72 quarter. I love that walking base. I just like listening to it. So we did get another mean reversion here, essentially, and up to the VPOC. So and that was a reasonably good one. That has 5 points of range. We sort of got a trigger here with exhaustion, and then we traded back up. So that was tradable. So, and here we go the other way. Now, if you're quick and engaged in the market, which I am diverted right now psychologically with the other stuff that's going on, this is a good opportunity. There's 5 up and 4 down. And good scalper or good good trader that's in tune with the market and got the context figured out could be trading this quite successfully. Why it's getting this pop here, I'm not too sure. Other than it's looking for that low, I guess. IB low is a possibility here. Very nice. Very nice. So a in reversion up, mean reversion down. This is not really mean reversion. It's because this is the mean. So how the hell are you going to revert to here, right? That's the point. That's not really a mean reversion. And Q is falling out of bed here, so that's likely driving this. And Q is a correlated blue here. Now my preference for shorting is starting to scratch my FOMO itch here. I will not give into it, but definitely looking at this thinking, boy, where's it going to go? If they get into that yesterday's range, could see some selling, profit taking on that big pop from the FOMC news yesterday. I'm guessing this 70 is a liquidity sitting out here is a strike, as is 80 and 90. I think all the whole numbers are century figures for sure are. And quad witching is tomorrow. So this now is looking a little bit like we've got 179 stops out here. Test back to 4. So that is an indication of exhaustion and could be interpreted as a mean reversion, which is plenty of room, trigger. Okay, so that would be entry here somewhere, stop down here. Your scale is at 3 points if you're just going with a fixed risk neutral, and definitely scale before the POC. We'll see how it plays out. Let's assume an entry here at around 73 to make it easy to remember. IB low was taken out now. It's right here. This is past 38, so the IB stat has been set or met or whatever you want to call it. And oh, it looks like we took a little test back here to our trigger, and now we're going to trade up to the mean reversion. So that was, in fact, a good structured trade so far. We would be scaled. Say you're in here at 73, 76, we scaled, would have been scaled, and would be getting kind of nervous right now. Back to our entry. But being risk neutral, the worst that could happen is a scratch. I would have thought, frankly, that there would have been more of a profit-taking sell-off down into yesterday's range and take back some of that, some of this, which is all just, euphoric stupidity based on the numbers or Christmas rally, whatever you want to call it. But, and I hope I'm talking and doing all that. Yeah, looks like it. Well, so far so good. The epoch shift lower, but that's only the full session shifting lower here, not the current session, which is up here. So yeah, that lower migration would suggest that we're going to go back down and test. I would think 70s a little bit would be a liquidity test for them. 75 is the IB low. That doesn't look right. IB low here is 72 quarter. Yeah. There we go. Probably down to 70 now. And points south could be. The NQ has fallen hard. Doesn't look to me like this damn thing is working right. I don't see that this is trading properly. Get this thing made a little larger here. Yeah, there's 72 quarter. This is IB high, low, IB high. Yeah, it's going to break out of here, low of day. This is a bit off the low of the day and just kind of fussing around that IB low. So is the high time frame going to stay in on top of this IB? And are we going to fail and head back up, or will it be an IB continuation trade? That's the big question. In my view, once again, I am not going to trade today. This week, actually. Until the quad witching rollover dodgy volume. We're only 903,000 contracts so far in the day. On the ES, current contract is H4. Z3 expired and rolled starting Sunday night through Wednesday. I'd love to pick a quick, trade off of here. Just kind of disappointing to sit around all week, but and that's what I get for thinking it's going lower. So we're looking at an IB failure. I'm sorry. Yeah, IB failure. Jeez, I am toast here. IB low. We've tested it a couple dozen times. Liquidity jumped in, and we're taking off back towards VPOC. So that's a classic mean reversion IB failure. That's pretty actually quite a beautiful structured trade. My apprehension is greater because of the week and the volume, the rollover, etc. So I will just continue to narrate and identify these structured trades. And this would have been one that would have been a likely suspect to take. Come down and test. It's not really a, how do you call it, exhaustion, but at least it's 2 or 3 tests on the IB low and then buyers hitting into it, and they're going to struggle it back up to 80. So that's, an 8-9 points. Very nice. Clean. Only one moment to give you pause when the bomber stepped in. That's a good trade. That'll be a nice trade to replay. And here we are back at the 80 number, which is the VPOC. So absolutely clean outside in mean reversion trade. Very nice, very nice. Like I said, out of control. I said no process, out of control. Out of control, and that's exactly what it is. So here we go. Beautiful mean reversion and the full session VWAP, VPOC. Brain is toast. Is back to the top, to the current session. So extremely nice. Now they may try higher than that, sure, but something is wrong here. We're trading here at the POC at 80. Something's goofy here. Something doesn't appear to be right with my IRT. Here's price at where it should be, but I don't see any. There we go. Wasn't painting, so there's our okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Salesforce has no paperwork. The BDM of the region doesn't know about it. Working on it. You've got somebody working. James. Well, that spells out of control. So, should be around here. So. There we go. Back down we go now. Well, It's actually trading quite smoothly now and rather predictably, at least it's in following structured ideas. That mean reversion from IB failure back up to the VPOC, tested above, looks like it's too high, up to this low volume area here, and then back across the POC again. Those are fairly expected structural trades. See it pretty cleanly on the Renko here. Basically, it's just a consolidation we're having this morning. I mean, pushed out the IB to the bottom, got the IB 30 to the top, I think. No, we did not. So the IB 30 and the IB itself, IB 30 is here, and the IB stat is here. So we're consolidating with a little bit of a southern skew there. Okay. Yeah. So it's 10 o'clock. I'm not going to take any trades today. I'm going to wind the stream off now, take care of some other stuff that I have to do. I don't think there'll be any. That's what I thought yesterday when Powell came on. But the problem with this kind of a day is starts to wear you thin. Starts to wear me thin as far as wanting to activate and engage with the market. And I don't think that that's the thing to do today. So I'm going to wind the trade off, stream off here and pick it up tomorrow. All the best.